Oh, Christopher, where are you? Oh, Christopher. All together now, join in. Oh, Christopher, where are you now? Oh, Christopher. And again, oh, Christopher, where are you, scummy little scumbag? Oh, Christopher, come out, wherever you are. Come out, Christopher. Oh, Christopher, come out, you weirdo, Christopher. Come on, Christopher, you weirdo. Come out from under your rock. It's time to come out and explain yourself. Oh, Christopher, come out and play, you weird old Christopher. Oh, Christopher, come out, you multiple stalker, oh, Christopher. Oh, Christopher, come out, you stalky little freakoid, oh, Christopher. Oh, Christopher, where are you now, oh, Christopher? Christopher, are you in court? What are you in court for, Christopher? Oh, Christopher, come and spill the beans now, Christopher. What have you done with Heather? Now come on, Christopher, tell us. What have you done with Heather, Christopher? What have you done with Heather? Do you know something we don't? Oh, Christopher. Come on now, Christopher, spill your beans now, Christopher. Christopher, it's not good. And it's not looking for all you people out there defending this degenerate, for want of a better word. I was looking for an appropriate word, but then I thought of AJ, and the name just came to me in a flash. Is Christopher Corton again? Yes. Now this is interesting, a play on words. Big shout out to Justin in the chat. Christopher he's already discussing his next victim. And this is something you picked up last night, wasn't it, Justin? Justin picked up on the fact that Christopher was flirting with Katie B. I missed it myself. Eagle-eyed Justin saw the YouTube sexual predator, degenerate Christopher Brindle, flirt with Katie. And we've heard from the voice of Christopher Brindle that he's already looking for his next victim. So God forbid Katie B is Christopher Brindle's next victim. We already know he's on the prowl. The Preston Prowler is on the prowl. But we know that the women are safe in the Matt Taylor chat room. And if we see any inappropriate behaviour, we will always call it out. So, word of warning to any of the ladies who interact with Christopher Brindle, it will end in disaster. Trust me. If anyone is in a desperate need for a Taylor love coaching session, it's Christopher Brindle. So I've got a song about that. It goes something like this. Oh Christopher, where are you now, oh Christopher? Come out from under your rock, oh Christopher, and take responsibility for your words, deeds and actions, oh Christopher. Now, absolutely disgusting. And, you know, come on. I've already had to delete. There's someone out there, right, who I've just got no time for, y'all. I'm just totally finished with. You may be able to guess. But listen, I've just got no time for it. No time. Totally finished with it. Whatever it says is totally irrelevant. It's bullshit. And so whenever I see a message from it, I just fucking delete it. I ain't got time. When I say I ain't got time with people, I've finished with people, I mean it. It means I'm finished with you. I ain't got time for your stupidity. This is serious shit. Heather is gone missing. We don't know what's happened to Heather. Right? For all we know, she may never have left Preston. I'm not implying anything, but I think Brindle may have killed her. I don't know. Nobody's heard from her. For all we know, Brindle may have killed her. You know? And of course, when we ask Brindle to explain himself, he comes on as Jimmy Jangle. He becomes on, you know, the country's most prolific paedophile. Uncaught, of course. Never brought to justice. But I tell you, everyone who's supporting this man, you need to give your head a wobbles in the words of the famous Angie. You need to give your head a wobble. You need to get a head a wobble. Right to bear arms. Heather is locked away in Christopher's ferret shed. Yes. Now, where is this ferret shed? Is it in his back garden or at the allotment? Where's Heather being held? There's an intelligence drop there. Thank you ever so much. Thanks for the intel. Both Justin and I can recognise immediately the importance of that intelligence drop there. So listen, Heather is either holed up. Well, she is holed up in their ferret's hut. Where that ferret's hut, only Christopher knows. Is it in his back garden or down the allotment? Either way, the roof is falling in. Hopefully, Heather would have escaped from Brindle's ferret hut, even. But listen, this is serious. This is serious. We've got crime being played out in real time before us. And none of the big hitters are mentioning it. YSN. What does YSN stand for? It stands for YouTube. I'm not even going to finish their name because they're filth. They're filth. I'm not even going to finish their name. Why a bullshit? They're not fucking holding the dangerous YouTube predators running around the block. No. They don't waste their time on them. They waste their time putting copyright strikes in against me, their rival. Because they can never do what I do. They're useless. They haven't got the skills. They haven't got the talent. They haven't got the balls to do what I do. So what do? They sabotage me from afar. It's happened all my life, but ultimately they never win. So, do you want to join in with me? Go on then. I know you want to. Oh Christopher, where are you now, oh Christopher? And what have you done with Heather? Release her from your ferret hut. You nasty, nasty man. Sources on the ground tell me Christopher has kidnapped before. Wow, it's all coming out now. It's all coming out now, especially with the data drops coming out from Night Watch. Woo! Christopher Brindle isn't the only one who's going to be with a custard pie on their face in time for Christmas. Oh, Christopher. Oh, Christopher. Where are you now? Oh, Christopher. Oh, Christopher. Oh, Christopher. Tell us what you've done with Heather. Oh, Christopher. Let her go from the ferret hatch. Let her leave her alone. What my demand on you, Christopher, is to remove any YouTube videos with her name in it. Disgusting. I mean, usually I snippet all Chris Brindle stuff and put them up, but I cannot with his latest misogynistic hate speech. I cannot, in all conscience, clip anything he said because it is so foul, so extreme. We got a new intel drop, everyone. Sources on the ground tell the source that Christopher's kidnapped before. This is explosive news breaking in real time. You don't see this happen anywhere else. Crime in real time, only on YouTube. His last hostage was held for a month and only released when the ransom for a new guitar was paid. There we have it. Only on Matt Taylor TV do we get these exclusives. Now listen, we're talking about Heather, we're talking about his other female victims, but there's another victim that we're not talking about. Let alone the 3 ferrets. No doubt, you know, with his history of neglect, we've heard from Nin. We know Christopher Brindle has got a history of neglect on his pets. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest that he's got those 3 ferrets living in the space of 1. It wouldn't surprise me. So, putting aside the ferrets and the women, let's talk about Fenwick. Poor Fenwick. What on hell is happening with Fenwick? We can see the frustration and hear the frustration in Fenwick's voice. Fenwick isn't getting the stimulation, the attention, and the exercise a dog of his caliber needs. And then you got to look around to all the people who donated money for that degenerate to get a dog when he's had a history of neglecting his pets. We have no idea what the conditions that his ferrets are living in. Where are they living? You know, is Heather now in the same ferret hut? What conditions is Heather in? Is it a cage no bigger than a few feet by a few feet? Is that where Heather is with the 3 ferrets? Is Heather eating the ferrets to stay alive? Are the ferrets eating Heather to stay alive? So many questions. But yet when Christopher Brindle has the opportunity to answer to his words, deeds and actions, he comes on as Jimmy Jangle, the UK's most prolific paedophile, hiding in plain sight, Jimmy Savile. Listen, you don't have to be Peter Hyatt to read between the lines. Something seriously wrong is going on with Christopher Brindle, and it's serious. It's serious. And the very fact that all the big hitters who would usually jump on this are silent, very, very telling. The old cliche, their silence is deafening. That's what it is. Their silence is deafening. Because of course the likes of YU shit and Tony Manchild, they'd rather waste their time copy striking me than addressing the real degenerates running around loose, causing havoc on YouTube. Anyone who's contributed money to get that Mr. Fenwick in with Brindle, you should be arrested for aiding and abetting animal cruelty. You should be arrested for aiding and abetting because you have facilitated that man and to get a dog which he does not need. In fact, that dog is suffering as a result of all those people who donated money to buy him that dog. You can hear it in not only in Fenwick's voice, but you can hear it in Christopher's voice. I mean, that dog is close to being hurt seriously. You can hear it. And don't say you can't. Over to the right to bear arms. I'm already laughing because I think I know what's coming. It made me sick when Christopher put Heather's gold hot pants on Fenwick last week. The intel never stops. Yes. The right to bear arms. I think it's worth mentioning. It made me sick when Christopher put Heather's gold hot pants on Fenwick last week. It made me sick when when Christopher put Heather's hot. Let's try and say this properly without laughing. It made me sick when Christopher put Heather's gold hot pants on Fenwick last week. God forbid. What even Tony or Christopher are doing to their bitches. Stop it. It made me sick. It made me sick when Christopher put Heather's gold hot pants on Fenwick last week. This is the degeneracy we're dealing with. It made me sick when Christopher put Heather's gold hot pants on Fenwick last week. And that was just the start of it. That was just the start of it. You don't want to know where Fenwick spent the night licking. Put it that way. Fenwick does enjoy a licking Christopher Brindle. And while Christopher Brindle may, on camera, say, "Get off, Fenwick, get off," when the cameras aren't rolling. As the intel tells us, the hot pants go on and the licking continues. Let's move swiftly on. Let's move swiftly on. Because, of course, we have Christopher telling us himself he watches porn videos with excrement involved. I do believe that's classed as extreme pornography, even illegal pornography. So here we have an admission from Christopher Brindle. He watches illegal pornography. It's involving, I think it's called scat. Is it? May have to correct me. Scat videos. Okay. That's why Christopher was complaining about the rash on his testicles. Yes, makes sense now. Oh. He passes out a lot. Do you know what I mean? He passes out. I don't think he passes out much now. He hasn't got the medication. He's off his medication, evidently, which is why he's just pretty much having a nervous breakdown. And all joking aside, I am concerned for Christopher Brindle. I mean, what he's doing, that crime in real time. I mean, isn't any of his friends just gently contacting him and saying, "Whoa, you've gone OTT here, mate. You're actually committing crime." Do you think anyone does that? Has he got any friends to do that? I mean, what friends has Christopher still got now? Does Tell still speak to him? I know Charlie's girl was in the chat a few nights ago. But didn't we hear Grobby saying he dumped Charlie's girl? So something's going on between them two. And of course we had Alf. No one knows who Alfie is. But we had Alf come on and say, Chris is a good bloke. Well, evidently he's not, Alf. So I don't know where you get that absolutely ridiculous opinion of Christopher Brindle. Because he is clearly not a good bloke. Is he, Alf? You idiot. No, I don't want this to be a Bash the Alf 5 minutes, but it may well turn into Bash the Alf. Because if Alf thinks Christopher Brindle is a good bloke, you're an absolute plonk, quite frankly, to be fair. And to be polite, you're a plonk, Alfie. You're a plonk. You're a plonker. Because Christopher Brindle is far from a good bloke. You just need to see his misogynistic hate speech towards Heather to realise that. And the way he talks about all women in his life. The guy readily meets, he cannot have a relationship with women his own age. They have to be a few decades younger. What is that saying about someone who readily admits, no, I cannot have a relationship with a woman my own age? They have to be a few decades younger. That's because he hasn't got the maturity to interact a woman with his own age. I mean, I am a qualified love coach. Okay? I know all about love. I know how to nurture love. I know how to sustain love. I know how to make love. Okay? But what we hear from Christopher over this last week since his breakup with Heather, that's twisted love, quite frankly. That's twisted love. Hello to the chat. Big shout out to Mandy in the chat. I wonder why they made kids sing that scat man. Yes, it was, very worrying actually. Just like Convid is mentioning there. Everyone said Savile was a good bloke, didn't they? Did you hear that, Alfie? Did you hear that, Alfie? Pay attention to what Convid is saying. Remember when everyone said Savile was a good bloke? Yeah. Right. The love coach, baby. I'm the love coach. If you want to mend a broken heart, if you want to find new love, then give me a call. Give me a call on my Premier number, £2.50 a minute. And we'll spend for as long as it takes to help you mend your broken heart and find new love. Call me now. Let's talk for an hour. I'm all ears and I can help. I've done the course. I'm qualified. I'm a qualified love coach, baby. Hey, and listen, yesterday I offered Christopher Brindle a free, I repeat, a free hour-long love coaching session. And he threw it back at me. He came in and started saying names that he knew would get me arrested. And that's another story all in itself, isn't it? I heard people out there going, really? If Brindle comes in and says a few names, I can get arrested? It's not so much can I, it's happened. Yeah. Yes, it's happened. From what people write in my chat results in me getting arrested. That's how much I'm at the front end of all this, ladies and gentlemen. I have kept the story to myself, but I am at the front edge of this fight between good and evil. I am. Yeah. I'm right there, leading from the front. That's why I'm getting bashed so much. But this is important, you know. We've got a woman's life at stake. No one knows where Heather is. The last intel suggests she's locked up with the ferrets in their ferret hut. Where that ferret hut is, I don't know. Is it in the back garden or is it out in the allotment? Either way, Heather is in danger. From a scat man. Scat man. A man who's absolutely obsessed with poo-poo. And Jimmy Savile. And I mean, all the red flags are there. And they've been there right from the start. So come on, anyone who says, no, I can't see any red flags. I'm thinking Fanny Bones in particular. Because that's how they operate. If it involves their mate, no, I can't see a thing. Nothing unusual around here, about here. But if even me or Justin said anything about this, of any other women in the community, we would be arrested. And it makes you wonder, what is Brindle doing that doesn't get him arrested? Oh, yeah. It's all about the left path. I don't know really what it's about. can only go on what you have experienced. Right, what's this? Oh, okay, brilliant. So I've got some good news from Abby that they're going to drive her down. Well, that's good news. That's good news. Good news. Okay. Yes. Thank you for the email. The text. Wonderful. Wonderful. See you later. Oh, that's good news. I don't have to drive to Chichester. Listen, I don't mind driving to Chichester, right? I love it. Well, apart from Worthing. There's a bottleneck, isn't there? Fucking in Worthing. Does my fucking head in. Bit of road rage, maybe. But fucking hell, Worthing. Getting through Worthing is a nightmare. And then getting through fucking Arundel is a nightmare. Apart from that, it ain't too bad. I've got fond memories of Chichester. That's where I became a policeman. I've done my phase 2 training in Chichester. I've got fond memories of Chichester Cathedral. Had a few blowjobs. Gorgeous woman. Oh, I met her a few times, so I was meeting up with her every time we used to loud out. But yeah, I do remember the blowjobs outside on the steps of Chichester Cathedral. Happy days. Happy days. It's important to be sexually active. It just keeps the stress levels down, you know. And I don't know about Christopher Brindle. For all we know, he could have had half a wank in the last 8 years, you know. Whereas me, I have regular sexual liaisons. And as a love coach, I recommend regular sexual liaisons with a loved one. I do not recommend promiscuous sex, okay? Whenever I talk about making love, I do recommend doing so with someone you're in a committed and stable relationship with. I do like to make it clear before anyone else comes in with any complaints. As a qualified love coach, I recommend a healthy sex life, but only with a partner within a stable and committed loving relationship. Okay, the evidence suggests, and my own research, that leading a promiscuous lifestyle doesn't provide you with that depth of emotional connection that's needed with a partner to lead a happy and fulfilled love life. But listen, I'm just going off on a tangent there. Back over to I'm already laughing because I'm just seeing what the right to bear arms. Over to the chat. Very, 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 we've got some major intel dropping in now, and I must read this intel without laughing. But it's difficult because this intel drops are just too funny. Over to the right to bear arms, referencing Heather's predicament, kidnapped by Christopher Brindle. All he feeds her is the remnants of his pot noodles. Oh man, what a, we mustn't laugh at other people's misfortune. That's something, I'm a big believer in, but sometimes it's hard not to, isn't it? It's hard not to. Over to Convid, who says Brindle needs to stop threatening Heather on his channel. Yes, it is harassment. And listen, I know all about harassment. That charge has been leveled against me enough times, okay? And I don't want to go into it. I would love to go into it, but there are actually court orders preventing me to do so. So look, I know all about this harassment, okay? And I'm telling you, as an ex-war military policeman as well, what Christopher Brindle is doing to Heather is criminal. And you don't need me to tell you that. It's obvious. Anyone and everyone who's been watching Christopher Brindle recently, since this breakup with Heather can see it for themselves. Where's Heather? Where's Heather? Locked up, licking the bottom of pot noodle pots with the ferrets in the ferret hut. Christopher is obviously desperate to find a woman that can put up with his manic mood swings and chronic insecurity. Very insightful there. But of course, I touched upon this just recently. His reluctance, refusal, inability, I think is a better word. His inability to form relationships with women his own age, of course, is very telling. And that just tells us, at the very least, that he hasn't got a maturity of a man 50 plus. He simply hasn't got that maturity to sustain a conversation with another woman 50 plus. In his own admissions, in his own confessions, he has to go for women decades younger. Over to the right to bear arms, he said, "I'd never trust a man who dresses up in his late mother's frocks." Very weird. Oh, it's too funny, isn't there? But there is, yeah, and it can be argued also there's an element of psycho there, isn't there? There's an element of psycho. And it all comes down to the bottom line, is that when Christopher did have the opportunity to explain himself, he came on as his alter ego, Jimmy Jangle, impersonating his hero, by the looks of it, Jimmy Savile. Why would anyone look at Jimmy Savile as a hero? Only a psycho would appreciate that kind of gesture. And that's why I do feel as if Christopher can safely be put in that category of a psycho. So listen, a little song comes to mind. It goes something like this. Oh Christopher, where are you now, you weird old psychopath? Oh Christopher, let Heather go, free her from your ferret hatch. Oh Christopher. No, Christopher, honestly, mate, you're going to end up in prison for Christmas. If you carry on, today's your day, you can turn it around, okay? Delete everything you're saying about Heather. That's the first thing you've got to do. Delete everything you're saying about Heather. Come on to YouTube. Face the camera. Okay? You've got to come on now. You've got to come and explain yourself so we can look in eye to eye. I think that's the only way you're gonna rescue this, Christopher. The only way you're going to keep yourself out of prison this year is to come on to YouTube, face us, Christopher, face to face. Let us see your eyes. Let us see you once and for all. Let us see you. Explain yourself. Explain to me personally why you can spend years calling me a stalker and a degenerate when you are going out stalking and being a degenerate to these lovely young women on YouTube. Explain to me. I want to know. Over to Mandy, who says, I don't watch Chris. I'm surprised there hasn't been lots of videos about this. The only person who's calling a fuss, Volcano, Right to Bear Arms, and myself. And where's all the big boys? The YSN, the Tony Quigley. They're too busy doing copyright strikes against me than hold to account the most, without a doubt, the most dangerous sexual predator operating on YouTube right now. Right now, ladies and gentlemen. And that's Jimmy Savile. Jimmy Jangle. Third time lucky, Christopher Brindle. We've already seen the victims, and he's already lining up KTB now to be his latest victim. Would Shazza consider taking Chris back? Listen, and I'm pranking here when I'm saying this. I'm doing this with with a disclaimer, this is a joke. But I do feel there's only one person who can give Christopher the happiness and the sexual satisfaction that he evidently is so desperate. And it's not Shazza. It never would be. And it's not Nin. It would never have been Nin. And it's certainly not Heather. It's not Mandy. It's not Katie. No. There's only one woman out there for Christopher Brindle that ticks all the boxes. And you know the name I'm going to say. So say it with me on a count of 3. Begins with a P. Yes, you got it. A 1, 2, 3. Paris. There you go. I've said it. That's the only woman Christopher will find happiness with. Just give it a few more months to heal up completely. But you don't have to. There's always options with Paris, as there are with women across the world. I don't want to talk too much because I usually charge for this. This is what we're touching on, the love coaching territory, and I usually charge £2.50 a minute for love coaching advice. So we'll park the love coaching for the time being. I just wanted to get it out there. There's only one woman for Christopher Brindle, and that's Paris. So over to Mandy, who says, I thought that's what the trolls do, call out the wrong uns. Yes. But there's a bit of a predicament there, Mandy, when their wrong uns are one of their inner team. And of course, I think just it proves the pattern conclusively for me that all those who are proverbially shouting from the rooftops, oh, him over there and she over there, they're the wrong uns. It's all these people who are shouting the loudest who are the wrong uns. How many times? I mean, I know myself, and the answer is fucking loads. How many times have we heard Christopher Brindle call me a 3 times convicted stalker? I've lost count. And lo and behold, it's Christopher all along who's the stalker, who's the sexual degenerate. I mean, look, I'm being serious here, right? We haven't heard from Heather, which is a concern. Okay, it is. I don't know about you, but I think it's a concern. I've tried the magic words. I've tried saying her name 3 times. Nothing. And then it makes you think, well, if Heather was available, okay, what could she tell us about Brindle? What could Heather tell us about Brindle? But the very fact that we're not hearing from Heather, worries me and makes me wonder, well, is Chris involved? Does Chris know that if Heather wanted to tell us her side of the story, it'll be a lot different to what he's putting out? So is that why we're not seeing Heather? Because he knows what Heather's got on him? I'm just asking the questions, okay? I know I've got some external help, and I may go back to the external sources and say, look, you've got to help us out here, because this could be something serious. This could be something really serious. Just imagine if Heather was available and she did spill the beans on Chris. What would we know about Chris in that event? What would we know about Chris that we otherwise don't know if Heather was to spill the beans? But isn't it interesting that Heather isn't spilling the beans because no one's heard from Heather? In fact, the last person who had anything to do with Heather was Christopher Brindle. Look, I'm not making any aspersions, okay? I'm just thinking aloud here. I'm just thinking aloud. But it is getting concerning. It is worrying. Someone should be checking out Brindle's allotment for any recent digging activities. To which the right to bear arms, good point, Convid. And now, all of a sudden, we've taken a dark turn in our conversations. Because now, just as I'm saying this, I'm thinking now, perhaps Brindle knows very well the damage his reputation would suffer if what Heather knows about him was made public. Am I making sense here? Am I making sense? I think I'm onto something. I can see a bigger picture forming in my head. Who was the last one to see Heather? Brindle. Why haven't we heard from Heather since? She's been silenced. Why does Heather need to be silenced? Because she's got a side of the story which evidently Chris doesn't want us to hear. And why was Christopher seen buying rope and tape in B&Q? I really do believe we need to ring up Preston Constabulary and say there's some skullduggery afoot in Preston. Check the bushes. Check the public paths. Public parks. Check the bushes. Brindle deflecting about Heather's immigration papers, just saying yes. And wasn't it interesting yesterday? Yesterday he came on, didn't he? I done a live, he came on. We mullered him. He ran off. He done his own live. Not one mention. Not one mention of just what happened. The guy is off his meds. And I don't say that as a joke. It seems to me, from as a professional point of view, the way he's acting so erratically, totally honest at one moment and then totally hate speech the other, those mood swings, those drastic mood swings within seconds of each other, and then the dissociative identity element of it all by putting on a persona to protect him from accountability. That stinks to me of mental health illness, and it stinks to me that someone hasn't had their meds. I don't know what's going on out there, but I know someone who does. And I think Heather knew, and Heather knows. I don't want to speak about her in the past tense, but I reckon Heather knows exactly what's going on. And it's concerning that we haven't heard Heather's side of the story. It can either be that Heather is that Brindle is right and she's too embarrassed to confirm it, or her side of the story is completely different and she's been held against her will in the ferret hut by Brindle, who, according to the data drop today, according to the data drop in the chat room, has a history of kidnapping. Wow. How can we help Chris? A welfare check, perhaps. You can lead a horse to want water, but if it doesn't drink, there's not much you can do about it. Defo, a welfare check. And of course, a search of all his property. We need to find Heather, people. We need to find Heather, at the very least. What does Heather know? What could Heather spill if she chose to spill the beans? That's the question of the day. What has Heather got? I mean, Chris Brindle will know. Chris Brindle will know exactly what was said to her. Chris Brindle would know exactly what was sent to her. Chris Brindle will know what's on Heather's phone because he sent it. How many dick pics, for example, did Christopher Brindle send Heather? Where is Heather? What would it look like if Heather spilled the beans? Is that what Christopher is so scared of? Because he knows what it will look like. Either way, answers on a postcode to Hoax Police. Yes, indeed, a welfare check. Search for Heather. Everyone can Google Preston Constabulary. Get the phone number. And listen, we're worried. This man, prolific troll. He's got a Jimmy Savile persona, mental health illness going on. He's not on his meds. He's his misogynistic hate speech is off the scale. Say it 3 times for effect. I always like saying my stuff 3 times to really drill it home. You know what I mean? To drill it home. There I go again. I like to say things numerously, repeatedly, just so it's driven home. Heather may have compromising photos of Christopher and Fenwick. Wow. I love your insightful mind. Yes, we could talk about that's incentive enough to silence Heather. If Heather has got those pictures of Fenwick wearing her golden hot pants. So, absolutely, there could be photographic evidence of Fenwick licking Christopher Brindle's balls while wearing golden hot pants. There you go. Ferret porn is rife in Preston. It's all coming out now. And it's all from Heather's mobile phone. That's another thing we need to find. Where's Heather? Where's Heather's mobile phone? Because if anyone who knows what's on it, Christopher Brindle knows. Dangerous times indeed, ladies and gentlemen. We're coming up to an hour. I'm going to wrap it up for an hour. I hope you've enjoyed this special bulletin. Because a song's coming to mind, and you know what song that is. It goes something like this. Oh, Christopher, where is Heather? Tell us, Christopher. Let her loose, oh, Christopher. Let her free, oh, Christopher. Let her go, oh, Christopher. You weirdo psychopath, just let her go. We want to know what she knows about you. We want to know what she has about you. So Christopher, oh Christopher, let Heather go, oh Christopher. No, but for real, Christopher, let her go, mate. Let her go. If Heather wants to share her side of the story, she's allowed to. But quite frankly, any more of this kind of like degenerate behaviour, and the police will be informed. Right? We're joking now. But listen, people are getting concerned. Right? People are getting concerned. Over to Mandy, who says, Andy, call Chris B a cutie. Just saying, really? Really, Mandy? Really? Well, in that case, I'm going to go and see Andy myself. I'm going to say, Andy, do you realise what Chris B is doing? How dare you call him a QT? Disgusting. And I'll tell you, if any women are still out there supporting Christopher Brindle, beware. Beware. He's looking for his next victim. And we've heard that himself. He said that himself. Turn yourself in, Chris. Do the right thing. I suspect, says the Right to Bear Arms, I suspect Christopher would have kept the gold hot pants as a trophy. They all do that, don't they? From what I've watched on crime shows. The police need to be looking for the offending attire. Yes, he used a tyre. But listen, we're talking about this with, with a serious intent. Put it that way. None of us. I didn't particularly get close to Heather. She always was pretty negative towards me. She was always, Chris's mate. She believed Chris over me, just like Sharon Gale did. So I've got no connections with Heather. I never met her, never spoke to her. I didn't go on her Huxley Files. When I did go on Huxley Files, I got pushed off pretty quick. Okay? So listen, I don't know Heather. Heather doesn't know me. But still, she was a part of the community, She was a single woman. I don't know if she was single, maybe with a boyfriend. I don't know. Either way, she was a single woman over from America living in London. But in that very first, she's vulnerable because she hasn't got the support of family, no doubt. Over to right of arm says, yes, she was an idiot, but she still needs to be set free. Yeah. And basically that just like, thanks ever so much for having the right to bear arms contribute today. It comes down to that. Yes, she was an idiot, but she still needs to be set free. She called you both cute. Oh, did she? Did she? The investigation is open. That's the main thing. Well done, Matt, for caring about the safety of a woman. Oh, thank you, Convert. Yeah. To be fair, is life fair, Mandy? Is life fair? So listen, spare a thought for Heather today. Spare a thought for Heather. If anyone has heard from Heather, let me know so I can put my mind at rest, okay? Otherwise, contact Preston Constabulary and say, listen, Christopher Brindle may have something to do with the disappearance of Heather Turner. Okay? Tell them what you've heard. Same as me, we've heard extreme misogynistic hate speech towards Heather Turner, and it's been unbecoming, unsavory, and totally criminal. I don't know about you, but it's crime in real time. We're watching crime being committed in real time on YouTube, and it's all our responsibilities as a community to come together and police our platform. Matt needs to be commended trying to save a woman who is not even his friend, deserves respect. Thank you ever so much. I'll put that on the screen. The right to bear arms. Big shout out to right to bear arms. Particularly enjoyed having their presence in here today. Matt needs to be commended. Trying to save a woman who is not even his friend deserves respect. Yes. I don't know Heather. Heather doesn't know me. Mind you, Heather did praise my propaganda skills once, which I thought was quite nice of her. But everyone needs to join in with this. The motto in the military police was lead by example. And so I'm leading example. I'm leading by example in this. And I want you all to follow me. Condemn Christopher Brindle. Condemn Christopher Brindle. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say it 3 times. Condemn Christopher Brindle. Because if you do not condemn his actions, he'll think he can carry on doing it. Other people coming on the scene will look at Christopher and say, oh, I'm going to copy his style. I'm going to copy his misogynistic hate speech because it gets a rile from people. No, we have to show that is not the way to lead. It's not the way to conduct yourself on YouTube. Over to Convert, it says, hopefully others will now discuss this on their channels and not leave it all to Matt. Thank you. So, honestly, Convert and Right to Bear Arms, Mandy, everyone who come in today, thank you ever so much for your comments. Because you are putting into words what I'm trying to express. And thank you. I do hope others will now discuss this. Because this affects all of us. And don't think Christopher Brindle isn't your problem. Because he's been your problem and our problem for a very, very long time. And now I'm worried now because Heather has been publicly humiliated and denigrated to such the extent that no one knows where she is now. And then it adds a whole plethora of questions. What does Heather know about Christopher? What has Heather got on Christopher? What's Heather's side of the story? And perhaps that's why no one's hearing from her, because Christopher Brindle knows very well what's on Heather's phone. He knows very well what Heather can do to him if she chooses to do so. Why isn't Jones calling Christopher out? Why isn't AJ Degenerate? Why isn't Uncle P? Why isn't YSN? Why isn't Tony? Why isn't Alan? Why aren't all of them And the simple answer is because they're all part of the same gang. Over to Mandy, who says that's Sharon Gale, Nin, Katie, and Heather now. I wonder why he's untouchable. He's untouchable because he's part of the gang. It's a gang none of us want to be in. Because trust me, you'll end up doing 10 years being a part of that gang. And the way Christopher Brindle is conducting himself, he's going to be in for a 10-year stretch, beginning at Christmas. And I want to go back to Fenwick again. I want to go back to Fenwick because Nin touched on it. Animal neglect, pet neglect. What's happening to Heather? What's happening to the ferrets? What's happening to Fenwick? What happened to all his past pets? They've died. Death hangs around Chris Brindle. Where the hell is Heather? I'm being fucking deadly serious now. What has Heather got on him that Chris doesn't want her sharing? Another victim of Chris. Beware of him, ladies and men. He's after the bumholes now as well. I think if there's anyone for Christopher, it's Paris. But listen, I'll only get involved for £2.50 a minute. If Paris and Christopher want to come to me as a couple and get some coaching on how their relationship could work, I'm more than happy. £2.50 a minute. Okay? But other than that, there's only one type of woman who could handle Christopher, and that's the type of woman Paris is. I don't think there's any other type of woman who could handle it, quite frankly. So, echoing what Convid says, it's so important to raise awareness of this, Matthew. Well done, thank you. I'll take that compliment. Doesn't anyone else care? Where are the other channels? Why are they protecting the Preston pervert? And that's the question that needs to be answered. And I want you all to go out and answer that. Next time you're on the panel, next time you hear discussions about trolls, I want you to say this. Doesn't anyone care what Brindle is doing to Heather? Why are they protecting this Preston pervert? So listen, we're coming up to the last 2 minutes of the hour. Make sure you talk about this to your nearest and dearest. Talk about this with your friends. Talk about this with other YouTubers. Over to the Right to Bear Arms, who says, Nin said he ate the guinea pigs when they mysteriously died. Cooked them in a camping stove. Wow. So we're ending this minute on an absolutely new, shocking revelation of Chris Brindle. Not only does he neglect his pets, he fucking eats them. I am not kidding you, he fucking eats them. Here we have Nin said he ate the guinea pigs when they mysteriously died, cooked them on a camping stove. Wow, on that note, I have to go. I'm stunned. Thank you ever so much, everyone, for watching. I'm your host, Matt Taylor. I've been broadcasting live from Brighton, and this has been going out simultaneously on YouTube and Facebook. A big shout out to everyone who contributed. Stay aware, stay away from Brindle, stay aware of Brindle. And on that note, remember, King Arthur loves you as much as I love you too.